Hey, I'm here with amazing jewelry artist Susan Lenart Kazmer, and she has brought some outstanding pieces with her. I love this piece, and the thing that I love is that it is made from a casting. So actually, this is the original object, and then this is the casting. And Susan, you're gonna actually show us how to do this.
Oh, I love using found objects in my work. And the cool thing about casting and resin is you could bring a lot of color into this. And you can I like to make things look like relics, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, this almost looks like sea glass or something like that.
Yeah, but like in ancient sea glass, you know, that's really what I try for. So I kind of want to show how I'm dirtying things up. I call it dirty casting because I'm really rubbing things in, making it look aged and older, and then brightening it up.
That's awesome. So let's get started. I know that the first thing is we need to protect our work surface, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is actually a studio mat. The thing I like about this paper right here is that you could just peel your resin right up. You know,
so you just want to be using a silicone sheet of some kind, something that is going to be really easy. You don't want to have like a piece of newspaper underneath. It has to be something that you can just pull it off.
Yes, because then it's not going to stick to anything. This doesn't really, it's going to come right up off of here. So I'm going to actually, I wanted to show actually casting with this piece right here. This is the piece that I'm going to be moving towards. So this is the found objects that I have here. I brought some shells and gears and things like that. They're super light to wear, and you know, you can really make it look exactly like a gear if you want to.
So this is a two-part molding putty. I'll take your garbage for you that you're working with. And now, does it matter that we know the difference between the white half and the gray half?
No,
you just...
Yep, and this is non-toxic. So this one, it's, you know, I always look for non-toxic if I can. And the important thing with casting this object is that you just need half and half. You don't have to be exact like we'll be doing with the resin.
I was going to say, do we have to like weigh it or measure it to know that it's half and half, or you just kind of eyeball
just
half and half?
it. So this piece, I'm just going to eyeball it. And
so
see how
my understanding, I was going to say, of molding putty is the reason it's separate is just because it only gets activated when the two parts go together.
Right. So once I get, you know, approximately half and half, I've got just a couple minute working time before it gets springy. So I'm going to need to press this in, you know, as quickly as I can. So once I put these two pieces together, you're going to see me work quick.
So it's magic chemistry happening. It's alchemy, actually, if you think about it, right?
It really is. So I actually just need these in my hands. I know you can see it from there.
Yeah,
but,
so someone once told me that the reason it's two different colors is so that you can tell when it's mixed, because if it was one color, you wouldn't be able to see that.
That's absolutely true. And, you know, a lot of times I'll have my students and they'll have lines of one color through here, and it doesn't make a good mold.
Oh, so that's a great thing to know. So if you see like marbling, it may be pretty, but it's not going to make a nice mold. What you want to see is kind of a boring old gray.
Right. So I just mix this very, very quickly.
Yeah.
This is about the longest length you'd want, and then I roll it into a ball and I set it down, and then I'm going to take this piece here. And
wow, you don't even flatten it first. You use the object to flatten it.
And then what the important part is that I always stress is I'm going to build my walls up really high on the side, because I may decide to, I always pour them thicker than the object.
Now, did you have to coat the object with anything to get it out or anything like that?
No, this is actually pretty oily. It already is moisturized, so it's just gonna pop right out when it's ready.
Now, do you let it dry with it in there?
This is gonna take about just a couple minutes, especially, you know, when it's hot. It just takes a couple minutes and I'll be able to pop that right out. So usually what I do is I mix up the resin in the meantime.
Oh,
so if you want to go ahead and hand me that, I'm gonna get this out of the way.
I'm just gonna get this all out of here. So again, we're talking about having two parts, right? And then mixing cups and spoons.
Yep. The stir sticks. You know what? I'm just going to grab these since it's open already.
There you go. No fussing
Is that all right?
with the packaging. Yeah.
Okay, and I always start with the first part.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go up to the 30 milliliters. These are medical.
So of course, obviously, just look at the packaging on your resin to see how much you're supposed to mix. Most two-part resins are usually, you know, half and half-ish.
Exactly. Sometimes there's a 2 to 1. This is a 1 to 1.
So you just read the packaging, obviously, to find that out.
Yeah, and you know, with this, I just really have to make sure that I mix exact. This one is more imperative to mix exact. So.
Okay, and then obviously the reason that you're having the plastic disposable things is resin is something we want to be careful with and not like reuse cups from and really just dispose of.
Absolutely. These can actually be, well, this actually is just mixed for about 3 minutes, 1 to 3 minutes. these, you know, a lot of times I try to reuse my plastics because you can.
Oh.
I found with alcohol wipes, I can just
Because I was going to say, you don't want to rinse this down the sink.
No.
No, so if you're going to reuse alcohol wipes or something to clean it out and you can reuse it.
And I feel better about that for our environment. You know, we need to stop throwing things away.
So now one of the things that I know that you were showing me earlier is these beautiful jewel tones. And I thought you had somehow embedded jewels into the bezels. But what you said is you had actually just colored the resin.
Right. So I'm going to put in just a couple drops. Just that's actually 3 drops, and it's just going to mix in and be a beautiful light color, not too much. And this actually is ready now.
Really?
It's that quick.
That was super fast.
I'm just going to pop this right out.
And there isn't anything left on here. That's so cool.
I know,
so you could use like a favorite necklace, anything that you had that you loved, and it would not going to damage it in any way.
And anything big because we're making it light, you know.
Cool.
So I'm just going to, remember I was telling you that I like putting, you know, I'm just going to rub a little bit of color in here like this.
Is that acrylic paint?
This is just acrylic paint.
And did you water it, or it's just regular acrylic paint and you're just going to brush in there?
And I just kind of dirty it up a little bit. Sometimes I rub dirt or anything in here that makes it kind of cool. Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah. So then I'm just going to go ahead and pour this in once it's mixed right. Okay. And don't worry about the bubbles. You know, everything's going to come out in the dry with resin. Usually it, you know, is quite a dry. Okay. So there, that piece is there. And I brought another one that looks exactly like
already set up.
Done.
And I noticed there are no bubbles in that.
Right.
Okay, so that's why we're not worrying about it.
Right. And you're going to see, I just prepare this ahead of time. You're going to see the paint that I put on there just pops right out with it.
Now, is this mold reusable?
Totally. I can use this 20 times.
So actually, I mean, I know we're doing this to make jewelry, but you could make a million decorations for your home, Christmas ornaments,
absolutely,
like all kinds of things.
Right. Buttons or anything that you want to use for your home. So you can see the top of it is a little frosty, so I always take my resin and put another coat on. But there's a couple things that I do. You know, I won't be able to really get too much into this, but at the back, if you feel a lip on here, you just kind of file the top of this away. You know, I always do a little bit of work at this point. I love being able to show how to finish up this type of work, because a lot of times, you know, it looks nice, but you can do this to it with a little bit more work. So you're
saying that the difference between the fact that this is shiny and this is matte is that you've put an extra layer of resin on here?
I put an extra layer of resin and I put a foil in the background.
Oh.
So actually, hand me those scissors and I'll cut this for you. Thank you.
And would you just brush on that extra layer of resin?
You would just brush it on. And you know, for the back, it really takes resin too, to apply this to the back. Sometimes I put a couple layers on, but I want to show you really how effective it shows up if the back is painted. You really have to get this foil in pretty close. And I do have this mat here, so I'm just going to spread this a little bit.
You're just talking about we've protected our surface, so you're not worried about glooping all over the place or anything like that.
Right. I mean, usually I don't this much, but you get
My personal style of creating is glooping, so.
So we're right at home here.
Exactly.
And once oh my gosh, really, you don't spill like this, but here's me today.
That's so cool. Now, how do you clean this brush? Because I know we're not supposed to wash resin down the sink. Do you just take a wipe?
You can use the alcohol wipes. They have to be the alcohol wipes, or you can just actually put it right into alcohol. You know, just a regular alcohol.
Just like a jar of alcohol.
Yep.
That makes sense. It's like oil painters have turpentine or something.
Right, exactly.
There you go.
You know, and a lot of times I'll have my glove on too. I'm not going to put it on right now.
Just so that you're not handling the resin and it's all over your fingers or something like that. Okay.
So see, now I'm getting this nice bright color. So I call it a glass.
Right, and I know you have one that's a little more dry and able to be handled here.
Voila, this one's dry.
And it's so cool, and you have 2 colors of foil on there, I noticed.
I do have the 2 colors, so I'm just going to go ahead and go around here to cut this off. And then you're just going to file the sides like I was just showing you.
And that will make it smooth. So you can actually sort of hack it away and then file. And then would you flip that over for a minute so we can just see? It doesn't look like anything from the back, but of course in the front, there you go.
Yeah, and you can find something to put it in. It'll be all set and look really nice. So.
Yeah, and I love all your finished work. It's so beautiful. So many different options where you can see. I think this is the piece that you used right here.
And the shell on the bottom.
So beautiful. I love this. And this seems easy enough that I can do it, and it's messy and it's dirty, so it's perfect.